I'm Dustin with Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and today I'll be showing you how to upgrade the forks on a 2017 Honda CRF250L Rally. The Honda CRF250L Rally features an SFF fork design, which translates to a separate functioning fork. So basically what this means is that each fork leg on this bike has its own separate function. So the rider's left fork is solely responsible for the compression and rebound dampening, whereas the right fork houses a single spring. Now, this is a really great design, saves on a lot of weight. However, a lot of riders just feel that the front end on this bike is really undersprung, especially if you're riding off-road or if you're carrying any luggage. So Racte-Tech has a fork spring kit that will include a spring that we will install into the left fork, which will drastically improve the bike's performance for just about any rider. So today we'll be showing you how to install this on a 2017 Honda CRF250L Rally. To do this job, we're just going to need a few basic hand tools. You will want to have a drain pan, some replacement fork oil. For this, we'll be using a 10 weight. You will want to have a ratio right, some rags, rubber gloves, and safety glasses. Now, you'll also need a spring kit from Racte-Tech that will come with all of the parts necessary to get the job done. To begin, start by placing the bike on a suitable working stand. Remove the front wheel. When removing the fork, loosen the top triple tree fasteners first. Then using your wrench, loosen the fork cap. Remove the rider's left fork from the bike. Then remove the fork cap. Loosen the lock nut on the fork cap and remove fork cap and lock nut from the dampening rod. Pour out the fork oil from the left fork and cycle the dampening rod several times to bleed out all of the fork oil. Allow the fork to remain upside down for several minutes to drain out all the oil. Next, we can measure and add 500 cc's of fork oil to the fork. Alright, so once we've got the oil put in there, we do need to cycle the dampening rod several times so that we can bleed out any air that may be trapped inside of the cartridge. You can see and you can actually hear the air bubbles as they're being worked out of the cartridge. Now, once you've got all of the air bubbles worked out, you should get a clean, fluid, steady motion out of the dampener rod when you're cycling it. Next, we're going to add one of these washers. Then we can add in the spring. Then we can install the Delrin lower collar onto the bottom side here. We want to make sure that the holes on the spacer are facing up. Once we've got that seated and installed, we can place this onto our dampening rod. All right, next, before we install our top collar, we're going to take a pick tool or something suitable. We're going to place it in through this hole, and we're going to hold on to the dampening rod so that way it doesn't fall in on us. Then we're going to install the top collar. We're not going to center it just yet, and then we can install the nut. All right, now we're going to thread the lock nut all the way onto the dampening rod shaft. Next, we're going to apply some medium strength thread locker to the threads. Then we can install our fork cap. We're going to thread this on until it seats lightly. And then we will hold the fork cap in a fixed position with our 17mm wrench. And then we're going to bring the jam nut or lock nut and thread it up onto the fork cap. And we're going to torque that to 15 foot-pounds. All right, now with this assembled with the one spacer washer at the bottom of the cartridge, this is going to set our spring preload approximately between 5 and 6 millimeters. Now, if you want to add more spring preload, they have 3 additional supplied washers, each which will add 3 millimeters of spring preload. Now, if you want to add those to your suspension, you will place those on top of the spring and underneath of our collar right here. Thread and tighten fork cap into outer tube and torque to 26 foot-pounds. Now we can reinstall this onto the bike. There isn't any need to remove and disassemble the right fork from the bike unless it's due for a rebuild or if you would like to replace the oil. If you do this at the same time, Racte-Tech recommends adding 600 cc's to the right fork when adding the Racte-Tech kit to the left fork. And that's it. Installing the upgraded springs from Racte-Tech is pretty easy and will definitely help to improve the front end performance on the 250 Rally. Now, we do recommend that you upgrade the rear shock as well when you're doing the front forks, especially for those of you that are going to be riding off-road and carrying luggage. Now, if you like this video and you want to see more, make sure to hit the like button, then subscribe to our YouTube channel for more product spotlights, how-tos, and top 5s. I'm Dustin with Rocky Mountain. Thanks for watching and keep the wrenches turning.